Hey!
Yeah, let's roll video.
Let's see what we've got.
I'm Andy Hall. I work on the Horus Heresy team in the Warhammer studio.
Siege of
The setting
Cthonia.
for the Siege of Cthonia book is the
Cthonia.
planet of Cthonia itself, which is the homeworld of the Sons of Horus. It's actually the homeworld of Warmaster Horus. As the Warmaster's fleets were advancing on Terra, a small detachment, calling themselves the True Sons of Cthonia, decide to peel away from the fleets and retake Cthonia in the interests of the honour of their culture.
That's cool. I'm very, very far behind on the Horus
So the book
Heresy.
opens up with a really
books
big, extensive
and lore.
narrative of the actual Cthonia campaign itself. Then we go into a section that sums up what all of the big factions
Big
in the
stabbing
Horus
robot.
Heresy are doing at this point in the war. We also have some new core scenarios for the game. So if you wish to play through the events described in the narrative, you've got some special scenarios that are themed around the Siege of Cthonia. We gave people a basic way of doing Zone Mortalis games in White Dwarf when the new edition came out, and this takes that and expands it into a full system. So full Zone Mortalis scenarios and system in this book. It's also got a really interesting section
That's
on
awesome.
Space Marine Inductii. We've got a new type of consul, which is called a Decorian. We have the Infernus Abomination. And then the last thing in the book, there's a number of special characters and special models that you can take. There's the two main leaders, the two main special characters, Garrus, Evander for the Imperial Fists, and Varanash Haddon for the Sons of Horus. We've got models coming out for those, rules for them in here.
Yes, tell us
This is
more.
the first of the campaigns of the Age of Darkness series, and we intend to keep going with these. One really important thing to say about this book is it's designed to appeal to all Horus Heresy players.
New models?
It's also telling a really important part of the overall story, and it's also giving people rules and scenarios and all the rest of it that will appeal to everybody.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet.
So that is a brand new narrative expansion book for the Horus Heresy.
Black books are back.
Yeah, so one of the things that was a huge hit with the first edition of the Horus Heresy were the black books. That was basically the main way that you engaged with the game, and they had loads of really rich lore.
Never played the
and
original
background
Horus
and maps
Heresy.
and all sorts of really cool stuff. And
But
it's
I'm
been a
building
year
a
since
Night
we've had,
Lord's Horus
Then
Heresy
one of the
army.
biggest questions we see on a regular basis is when are the big black campaign books coming back for the Horus Heresy? And here we
Yeah,
are.
so this book is the
Squeaky,
first
squeaky.
of that ilk, and it's
Background
absolutely
noise, guys.
jam-packed with stuff.
Squeaky,
We heard
squeaky.
from Andy Hoare there a few of the details about what's going to be in it. So there will be brand new miniatures, obviously accompanying the new campaign book. But maybe more excitingly, actually, is this brings new ways to play. So there is a full Zone Mortalis set of rules.
Okay.
That's a hugely popular way to play Horus Heresy.
Yep.
Don't know what that is.
Loads of the best bits of
Like I said, I've
the
never
lore of
played
the Horus Heresy of like
Original Horus
building the Vengeful
Heresy,
Spirit
and
or
I have
various
yet to
different
play
flagships and Gloriana ships and the
the
battles that happen on
the new
board
version,
them.
2.0.
This has got new ways to play on the tabletop, on Horus's homeworld, on Cthonia itself.
That's cool.
And the characters that kind of lead those battles will be getting new miniatures, alongside lots of other
some
new
new
miniatures
miniatures.
that these new
Yay.
campaign books herald. So it's a really exciting time for the Horus Heresy. It's like the next step. We've had the edition, we've had the kind of base level, and now this is diving into the detail.
It's pretty exciting to hear Andy talk about it as well. Even when he's not on a recording, there's a certain driving passion that exists there for Warhammer and for the brand and for the game that it is sort of hard to rival, and it's magical to see amongst the folks who are actually designing and building the product. And also to hear him talk about it as, in his own words, inside of our regular meetings, a historical war game in a sense, and that we view the heresy itself as a historical moment in the history of Warhammer.
Yeah, I think there's a really interesting thing about the Horus Heresy, which is that when people get really into it, they want like authenticity.
Sorry, I was
right?
just
So, like,
checking to
people
make
tend
sure
go,
their volume was
I
okay.
want this bit of the lore. I read this story. It was really cool. I want the faction, the specific company or chapter that took part in that battle. And these campaign books basically go, here is a bunch of really cool stuff that happened. And each of those moments, each of those battles gives you an opportunity to kind of go, that chapter was cool. I want that drop force, or I want that assault company, or this stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Well, which would you be?
And
Would you be a Son of Horus or an Imperial Fist in this particular?
Oh, wait, so in this one, I think the Imperial Fists are pretty cool. Right?
I mean, I'm a big fan of Imperial Fist. Also, they're sort of like a
Yes, the Sons
But
of
then
Dorn.
the Sons of I mean,
Force,
it
right?
is Horus's Heresy, right? It's his game. So
it's his game. So he has enough spotlight. We can root for
he has,
the best for
yeah,
a
that's
change.
fair.
So one of the other things too is if you ever happen to see some photos, if you're ever at one of the events we're at, we actually have a 64 square foot Horus Heresy Istvan Massacre battlefield.
Man, I
with
would love to
hundreds,
see
if not
that.
1,000, I think at this point, miniatures recreating the whole
Oh,
experience. And
man.
like scene for scene, shot for shot, pieces
Pretty
of
cool.
cover art from the Heresy. So I'm kind of a big old Heresy historical nerd
Nice.
myself. But it's exciting to see.
I'm gonna change my answer.
One
actually, 'cause I just
day
remembered a
I'm
cool
gonna
thing
have
about
to
this
go
book
to
that I haven't
AdeptiCon.
talked about.
Now you're not going to be in Imperial.
So one of the things that these books do is they give you a bit more of the kind of rich tapestry of the Heresy, and what we know is that some of the legions and chapters didn't fall completely, or they had loyalist elements in them. So one of the things that's quite interesting in this book is that you get some loyalist elements of the Thousand Sons.
That
Legion
is neat.
joined
I do
alongside
like.
the Imperial
Oh,
Fist.
Thousand Sons.
So
Really?
I thought he was gonna say-
So I'm going to pick them. So I like the Thousand Sons.
So
They're like one of my choices.
You're a fan of the small
So-
contingent of loyalist Thousand
That's
Sons.
exactly it. I was
All
a
right.
fan of those.
That's a deep cut. One that's also
Absolutely,
quite a sneak peek
absolutely.
for those who are paying
Yeah.
attention.
That is
Cool.
awesome.
Okay, so that's Horus Heresy. Really cool. This book is going to be accompanied by loads and loads of new stuff. Dome Mortalis rules, brand new miniatures, all sorts of cool things. We are now going to